This one distorted. So I'm gonna have to rule him out because that makes it hard. This one distorted too, so I'm gonna rule that out. All right, everyone, today it is serious business because I am sick of my containers looking like this. Why? Because I love spicy stuff, I love tomato stuff, like bolognaise, curries, everything like that, and all my containers end up messed up. Do yours look like that? If so, hang around because we're gonna work this one out together. Now, before you go anywhere, don't forget to like and subscribe if you actually like this content and want to see more of it. Otherwise, I don't know what you want to see. I'm just going to keep making shit you don't care about. So what we've got for this is some bolognese that I made the other day, which is actually really good. That's a pork and beef bolognese. Got lots of onion in there. There's lots of oils coming out of it. I didn't go for any of that lean, low-fat stuff. We're then going to knock it up a notch. So here we have some random red wine. That's going in. These are all the fun staining things. We got some hot sauce, the good hot sauce, or one of the good hot sauces. Gonna chuck in a pile of that. And then gonna make it extra tomatoey. Extra unable to open-y. Bloody hell, I just cut my nails and it hurts. All right, some extra tomato paste in there. And I'll use the rest of that in toasties at lunch. That's good. Now, we want to mix this up and get it as homogeneous as possible. And then I'm going to heat it up a bit. And whilst it's in the microwave, it's going to blend a little bit more and a lot of those oils are going to come out and mix between it. And then I'll show you what containers we're going to try. These are containers that if you're in Australia, you should be able to get at pretty much any shop. I went to Spotlight, Coles, Woolies and Kmart to get these containers. And just got the cheap standard ones, also got small ones, you know, I don't want to pay for stuff. That is what actually looks like a pretty bloody good bolognese. It's about 3 days old now though, so unfortunately I can't eat it, but there was twice that to start with. We have eaten heaps of it. So I'm gonna stop this for a moment now. I'm gonna microwave this and get the containers out. We'll be back in a tick. There we go, instant transformation. So this actually smells really good now. You can definitely smell the red wine in there. It's piping hot. We're a little bit spicy from our franks, but that's what we want. So I'm going to put this to the side. You can see even the steam coming off it is red and that can instantly stain this really terrible cheap counter. Now let's have a look at some containers. First up, this is the only one that they had at Spotlight that the others didn't have. We got this Mode 6-piece, and that was only like 12 bucks or 18 bucks, so that's not too bad. From Coles, we then have their Cook and Dine set. So I got some of those, just a few little ones. These were like $6, I think, and they have a couple of different styles, but they're all made of the same material and about the same thickness, so I didn't bother to get those. We then have your typical Decor, which is what it's actually in now, but some fresh ones to try out. Your good old Sistema, all my stuff's falling over, with the new style of lids that clip from the top. They've even got this little, whatever that is, grippy thing. So we'll try these out. We have Kmart 3-pack Anko. These are actually pretty good. I use these for a lot of dry stuff. I don't think they hold liquid very well. We have been making sure that everything is microwave safe though. From Woolies, we have this Urban Ethos range that I'd never heard of. So I thought I'll test this one out because it is also microwave safe and it was only a few bucks. We then have a different Decor one. This is the Decor Fresh Seal. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same as the other, but you know, why not try it out? We then have a Kmart or an Anko 2.3 litre clip container, which looks like it's just made out of a different material or a different style to the other one. So we'll give that a crack. And lastly, we have your standard food containers. So these are your disposable Chinese food shop style food containers. I just got them from Woolies. I think they all come from the same factory though. So I'm now going to put a little bit of that sauce into one of each of these, and after that we'll fridge it, see how it turns out in 24 hours. You know what? I'm going to put the sauce into each one of these and then microwave it again for another minute on the other side, and then pour it out. Put it in, leave it in the fridge, then heat it up like you would, like you're reheating, like you're storing hot food and then reheating it the next day, just so we can accurately see what stains it the most. How in the living Christ do you even open this contraption? Oh, all right, that's a bit weird. So it kind of slides on like that. Looks like it's got pretty good grip too. We'll have to see how much water these leak. And I'm going to shake around too. Make sure we get all the sides coated. Oh my hell, this is going everywhere. All right, one of those already leaked a bit as I shook it. I'm not sure if that was on camera, but yeah, some got me. Remember, kids, always cut away from yourself. Do what I say, not what I do. That bottom one's already bloody cracked. Oh, that would have been me. I'm not sure if you saw the shorts that I made for this, but I just dumped it all on the ground. So that would have likely contributed. We're going to have pretty much exactly the amount we need. That leg's not broken. These are the cutest little containers. I don't know what they'll be really good for. I'm probably going to use them for part storage, like nuts and bolts. But, you know, if you ever want to store 6 grapes somewhere, I'd probably do it. I think they do come with a version that has a clear lid too. All right, this last one actually has a little, like, air vent. Okay, that doesn't even seal, so you're going to have to cover that when shaking it about. It doesn't clip in. I think that's so air can exit as it's being microwaved maybe, but it also means that food can exit when you're shaking the living bejeebus out of it. All right, so here we have, get these out the way. How many is that all up? We've got, learn to count kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different containers from 4 different really common Australian stores. We've got Coles, Woolies, Spotlight and Kmart. I didn't have a Target down here to try out. I'm not going to step foot in an Aldi. So we've put some sauces in all of these, which has plenty of red wine and tomato and fat and chili and everything you need to stay in a container. Shaking it around, I'm going to give it another shake, and then I'm going to fridge these up for 24 hours. Tomorrow we're going to come back, I'm going to reheat them, and I'm going to clean them out and see which container looks the best. Now, all of these containers are only a few bucks each. Some of these were less than $1 each. So we're going for the cheap, and we're going to find the good. Stay tuned, catch you soon. We've got 2 late entrants. These are from Red Dot, which I happen to go into today because it's not quite as sad as Anko. Don't like it there, but they did have these containers, both of which are microwave safe, and it was $6 for the 2 packs of these. One was $4, one was $2. I don't remember which way around, but I'm going to chuck some of the bolognese sauce into these now and add them to the contender pile. Hey everyone, we are back with this towering pile of old sauce at this point. I was going to swear, but you know, it's YouTube, it's best not to swear, and kids might want to learn about plastic containers too. I really doubt it. This seems like you've got to be in your 30s to be really into plastic containers, or maybe in your 20s, but really OCD. If you've been liking this so far, the last 10 minutes or so of what I've been talking about and doing, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially to see more of these, because I'm going to keep doing this sort of stuff. And leave a comment. If you have a container that's readily available, or I don't explain something properly, let me know. I love your engagement. I love your comments. I really appreciate it. So what we're going to do now with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 containers is microwave them all. Now I'm going to over microwave them, because that's what stains them sometimes as well, is that extra hot food being kind of almost bonded to the wall, it seems. So we're going to microwave each of these for like 3, I might even go 5 minutes. I'm going to crack the lid on each of them as well. I'm going to double check that each of them is microwave safe, because I don't want to destroy my microwave. Poor thing is getting worn out. And then I'm going to rinse them out. And the rinsing process is going to be pretty much tipping out the food, because this has been in here for 3 days now, into the compost, because you cannot eat it. Any cooked beef or pork you want to keep for maximum 3 days, and this was 2 days old when I cooked it. So remember, mince basically, cook it 3 days in the fridge, as long as you fridge it pretty quickly, and only reheat it once, so this is no longer fit to eat. It'll go in the compost, and then I'll clean each of these out with a cloth and some dishwashing liquid, and then we'll see how they look Lastly, after that, if you want to hang around to the end, is I'm going to put some water in each of them and just tip them up and see how much it leaks out, because you know you might be lifting stuff out the fridge or moving stuff around, and if it's very full, especially like say you got a chicken soup and you tip it from side to side, it might leak out. Happens to me all the time, so we'll test that last. Hold tight for a bit. I'm going to microwave the living bejeebus out of some of these, and then we'll have a look at the inside. All right, this is definitely interesting. We've got some mixed results here that are better than expected and atrocious. So what we're going to do, I've got a little bit of paper here I'm going to make some notes on. We're going to look at, first of all, how much they're distorted, which just makes them hard to use on the steel properly. How much they're discolored, which is what we're looking for, which is that kind of, you know, the orangish. But then how much damage there is too, because as you saw, I didn't put too much in there. So a lot of it will heat up and actually damage the plastic permanently. Some of them are going to be more resilient to that, and the reason is that these are all polypropylene or HDPE, but not all polypropylene and HDPE is the same. That's a category, as a type of plastic. There's still many different manufacturing processes, even surface finishes, which will affect how oleophobic or even thermally conductive the material is. So we'll look at those three. We'll treat it like demerits. We're going to give each one of these 12, and we'll take points off for it failing. We just do have to be aware that I did chuck them around for that shorts. So any corner damage or like this here being broken, that's probably from me. First up though, let's have a look at this one. I cannot remember the brand, we'll refer to the start, but this is the big one, which I wish I could remember the brand. I'll make some notes, or I'll put the label over the bottom there while I'm doing it. Now this one actually did pretty good. There is a little bit of damage you can see in here, but it's not really that discolored, to be honest. It's not really stained. Where it is discolored is where it's damaged, which is pretty expected. It still appears fairly flat. Yeah, that's flat. And, but that's the letdown. All right, so the lid is slightly discolored. Hang on, let me fix my camera. So the lid is slightly warped or distorted, which is not great. This can indicate some imperfections in how it's made. It can also just be uneven heating of the container, but it is permanently warped like that now, which is going to make it quite prone to leaking. So I'm going to take 1 out of 2 points off for the distortion, 1 out of 2 points off for the discoloration, because it is distorted, but it's not the whole thing distorted. It is discolored, but it's not badly discolored. And I'm going to take 1 out of 2 points off for the damage, because the damage isn't too bad. Now, just to note as well that this one is made out of... That is a bloody good question. I cannot actually find recyclable 5. 5 is going to be polypropylene, I think. So that, from memory, is polypropylene. Let's write that down. Next up, let's go for one of the worst small ones. Here we have the Sistema KlipIt system. This is made out of 5 as well. So I'll just write KlipIt on here. And as you can see, it didn't do too well. That will harvest or harbor some bacteria in there. The lid is pretty much still flat. The container itself is still flat. The sides are still round. So it did take quite a bit of damage. There's no actual discoloration I can see at all. That's not the damage. So that's interesting. But it took heavy damage. It didn't tank that so well. So distortions, 0 points are coming off it. But for discoloration, I'm gonna have to say 0 points. I didn't actually see any discoloration, but it did take heavy damage. So I'm gonna take 2 off for that. And I think that actually makes it unusable. You would not want to store food in this anymore, and that can't be cleaned. That's not even cheese. That is the plastic damaged from being in direct contact with the boiling liquid. It does say that it is up to 100 degrees. So it would have exceeded that when the food was boiling. It does say it's microwave safe though, and microwaves will typically heat things up over 100 degrees. This one says 120, interestingly. So we're gonna have to just rule him out altogether, which is a shame. Now, next we have this little one. I'm gonna put this in a similar category because look at the bottom of that. I don't know if you can tell, but that thing is a mess. It got minced. So this is made out of a material which I cannot read anymore. I'm going to assume it's also polypropylene. That is damaged in multiple ways, and the lid is also distorted, which means it's not going to stack properly. It's going to sit funny on an angle. So that one I'm going to have to rule out as well. That will go the round one, which is probably propylene. Distorted, -1. Discoloration, yeah, the plastic is discolored even where it didn't take damage, but not hugely. So -1 for that, then -2 for the damage, and we're going to rule that out. Next up, let's have a look at this one. I think this did quite well. So there is a little bit of damage in there, but it really hasn't discolored. It does also have measuring on the side. The lid is still flat. The container is still flat. The lid is in great condition. It is, you know, a bit messy, but I reckon that's still usable. Now this is the lemon lime. It's polypropylene, and it says it goes up to 100C. So that tank, 100C, a lot better than this one would. It's not in great condition, but I would reuse that. So that one was lime from Spotlight, I think. So distortion, none came off for that. Discoloration, none. I'm pretty certain it's a none came off for that. Damage, just -1 for a little bit of damage. So that so far is our winner. Next up, we have your stock standard takeaway container. Now, half the problem is you open these and they crumble. These are single use as well. So for damage, we do have a bit in there. It's a bit melted. Now these are polypropylene. It is supposed to go up to an unknown number that doesn't tell you, but it says suitable for microwave. But it's broken, and the amount of times I've reheated food, taken the lid off, and then chewed a bit of bloody plastic in my food. The lid is also distorted. The container, just slightly, but that could be that bit of damage. So I'm gonna say takeaway, distortion, -1 for the lid. Discoloration is actually really good. I'm gonna say 0 for discoloration, but I've got to go -2 for damage because of it physically failing already. It is single use, I'm not discounting that at all, but I'd rather eat out of a dirty container than chew on plastic or cut my gums open. So I'm gonna rule this one out for that. However, I would still include this for single use, especially if you recycle. Polypropylene, apparently about 8% of it goes to recycling. That was just Google, you Google it too. I'm not gonna cite my sources, you'll fight about it in the comments. Single use like this is excellent, especially you know, if you're gonna be bulk making something or giving it away and knowing you're not getting containers back, excellent. I would just really prefer if you recycled too. Now, little red thing here, took some damage. That bottom is really distorted and that inside is messed up. Interestingly, it is nearly perfectly straight still, and the lid took some splash damage, some AOE there. Sorry Coles, your cheap shit didn't pass this time. It is made out of polypropylene, and it says microwave safe and BPA free. I'm not sure which ones are BPA free, but that one is pretty much the same as that round one. So Coles red. For distortion, 0, incredibly. For discoloration, I don't think that actually discolored anywhere that there wasn't damage. So I'm gonna say 0 for discoloration, but it took heavy damage. I'm gonna say 2 for damage, and either way, it got ruled out just because that thing is a mess now, and that's probably gonna melt through if you reheat it a few more times. So you two, for some reason, are a type of polypropylene that sucks. Next up, Decor. So these are really common. They're sold in most shops, and this, for something so cheap, has an inner lip, which is pretty cool. Now you can see that lip there has suffered some discoloration. There is some very slight damage in there as well, but the lid is still straight. This one is still straight, and it did fairly well. There's minimal damage, and I don't really see any discoloration. Now this is made out of a material that's not going to tell me. Also polypropylene. So a good polypropylene, I'd say, I'm just going to call this, was it Fresh Seal. So for distortion, 0. For discoloration, 0. Actually, no, the lid, the rubber has discolored slightly. I will revise that. You are going to lose a 1, sorry, Decor. -1. I'm not comparing the price because these are all like roughly less, they should all be less than $1 each. Especially if you buy like one of those 5-packs or something. And then damage, no damage. Oh, sorry, -1 for that damage. That was really, really minimal compared to the others. But it also wasn't perfect, so I put a different amount in each. They're a different size in each. So -1 for damage, but he's still doing quite well. So these are a mess. These have done quite well. That did well with a single use and you'll cut your gums open. This one's so-so. Onto the Sistema. This is also polypropylene. I'm starting to think they probably all are. I have heaps of these with the old design though, where the lids clip up and I prefer them. This one, the lid has immediately distorted and you can see it has taken some damage. It hasn't really discolored though. So these new ones discolor less than the old ones, it seems. It was the old one that I was showing off in the shorts. Due to the distortion of that lid though, it's actually really hard to get it back on. And so it doesn't even line up properly and just pops open easily. Not a good container anymore. So container Sistema, distortion, I'm gonna go -1, that's the max we're giving. It just had worse of an effect because it's smaller. Discoloration 0, I think that did quite well. And damage -1. So it's not too damaged, but it is definitely damaged. Oh, next we're down to the last 3. What's this one? This is something I think I got from Coles with this weird little lid thing. So this one also distorted a bit. I did have an issue putting the lid back on. It does look like it would be liquid safe if it wasn't for that stupid little hole there. It did take a bit of damage though, and it looks like, yeah, it's starting to discolor even where it's not quite damaged, and you can see that there on the white. I think it's not too bad, but with just that single use, it's definitely getting discolored. So I'm going to call this Blackie. I'm going to say for distortion -1, for discoloration -1, and for damage it didn't take as much as I would have expected. Like where the bottom was fully covered, it actually held out. So yeah, that's a -1, not a -2. You didn't do too bad, dude, but you're just not the best. Now onto this one. This is the Urban Ethos food storage. I think this is Woolies as well. And this one, this lid is discolored and damaged. The container itself is discolored and damaged. And this ring immediately came out of the lid, which is a pain in the ass to put back on. Because the lid slides on like that and then clips. I know before I even started using it, this thing was leaking with the lid on. So that's gonna fail. I will get it back in for the water test so we can compare that, but we'll call this Ethos and distortion. I'm gonna count that as distortion, essentially -1, discoloration -1, damage -1. And buddy, you are a mess. You need bin or recycling. What are you made out of? Also polypropylene. All right, so none of these are HDPE. I could have checked that at the start, but I didn't. Out of the game, you go on that side with the losers. Then again, your stock standard Decor. This one actually kind of did all right. Again, it's got the measurements on the side. It's supposed to, it just says you can reheat it. It doesn't really say that it's microwave safe. It doesn't say that it's BPA free either, which is interesting, but it did pretty good. It is not distorted, or actually the lid, yeah, the lid got it. The lid's got that kind of warping in it. The container's all right. Is that getting discolored? That is really hard for me to tell. I'm gonna have to say that is starting to get discolored, just not as much as some of the others. So it's still in a usable space. I don't want to go over there, just not a good usable space. That was Decor cheap. So -1 for distortion, -1 for discoloration, and -1 for damage. So they all took damage. These ones took it really bad. They're all made of polypropylene too. These handled it in a reasonable manner. This one too, I think. He possibly just seemed like more damage, and that is actually discolored as well. So he possibly took more damage than the rest. But so far, it looks like, if we have a look, so we've got a column here to tell them. So -3, -2 but ruled out, -4 and ruled out, -1, -3, -2 but ruled out, -2, -2, -3. I don't know why I'm counting that. They say we're 12 points, but whatevs. -3 and ruled out, -3. So our best one is that lime one, which is in first place. Which one were you, buddy? Come out here. Take the stand. Is that one? Is it bloody lime or Decor Fresh Clips? lime. All right, this one actually took first stage. He's in good condition and very reusable. Then in the second place, so I'll put that at the front as the winner, the champion. In second place, which is with -2 and not completely kicked out, we have Fresh Seal, which is that one. We have, I don't know what that word is. Oh, the Sistema, which is that one. I got to write less encrypted. All right, those two in equal second place. In third place then, we have the big one, as you expected. The takeaway container, although he moves to like 3.5-ish space. And then the cheap version of the Decor. They all came in at -3 and weren't ruled out. These ones, they are ruled out. They're a wreck for one reason or another. And the last thing we're going to test then, which might downrate them, is how water resistant they are. So I'm going to put something down. That something's going to be a fry pan. And we're going to see how water resistant each of these are when they're closed after a single use. After a single hard use, but you know, that's a bit of a lifetime for it. So first up, our first place contestant, see if he keeps his first place. That lid is on. And a very slow drip. Quite happy with that, especially for no seal. I'd say generally moving about, you're really not gonna, oh, hang on, that corner's not doing too well. All right, well, that's gonna be a -1 for him. The Decor Fresh Seal, I expect this won't leak at all. Now, what if I squeeze it? Now, the way that's designed, that doesn't leak. So that moves into equal first place. Then we have the Sistema, the new Sistema design, also has a seal. Now, the other Sistema ones, the old ones, that seal would eventually fall out. I don't know if these ones will. Now this actually is quite distorted, so it is hard to clip on, but it is still fully usable, and that distortion might not remain permanent. So I'd say that's, yeah, definitely frustrating, but that's in second place now. Let's go for the cheap Decor one. Oh, that lid was hard to get on with its distortion, but that also means it makes a pretty good seal, even just giving it a squeeze. I gotta say, you're all pretty good. This one is disadvantaged by its size, but it does have quite a good lid, which is double walled, and it does have a seal. Yeah, that's holding. It's holding up. And the takeaway container. We all know these leak like a mofo, and there is a damaged corner. So, wow, actually the Woolies ones don't leak much at all. They're just starting to drip after a moment. And we go to the leaky corner. Yeah, not too bad. Definitely second place. Now we'll have a look at this weird black thing with that lid thing. See how this does. If I put the lid on the right way up, that's a bit dirty. Good seal. Yeah, lid. A little lid hole. I don't know how that's not leaking. That's quite incredible. You get promoted slightly. This one, my arch nemesis with the seal that came out. Hate these bloody things. We're trying to put them back in. It's like an O-ring or a gasket. All right, so bit of liquid in that. The seal is already coming back out. This thing for sure needs to go in the bin really quickly. Oh my God, that seal is just coming out every time. I think these might be single use. All right, we've got it on. And yeah, that seal doesn't mean shit. This thing just leaks. That can go in the bin. That is a garbage factory. Crappy little red Coles one. Seal's pretty good. All right, didn't leak water. Still going in the bin because that took such heavy fire. That will melt through and is not good for use. Then we have the Sistema one, which ruled out. This Sistema one, what was it? KlipIt Sistema, took heavy damage. So, does have a good seal though. I'll be throwing this out because I don't want to reuse it. Actually, I'm not going to throw these out. I'm going to use them for nuts and bolts. I'm going to recycle them myself. So that one does hold quite a lot. And this one I use a lot for dry goods. I have literally dozens of these for dry goods. It is no good for reheating. That will melt and leak through your microwave, making a mess. Put a bit more in because that lid's got a large wall. And it seals up. Does leak. It just takes a while for the air to get into it, so it doesn't really have a seal. I have had issues with these as well, being really hard to get undone. Like if left for long enough, because it's a thread and it's the only one with a threaded lid, the threads can kind of bind up slightly. It might be the thermal expansion. Now, let's get this out of the way and look at what we learned. These, all good containers on their own for various purposes, not for hot things. This is the worst. This Urban Ethos that I think I got from Woolworths. You are the worst container. Don't get these. They are a waste of money. Now, that one, I've got reservations about. These ones with the seals, of course, are all gonna do really well. Out of them, this one distorted. So I'm gonna have to rule him out because that makes it hard. This one distorted too, so I'm gonna rule that out. The reusable ones have their niche place, so I'm gonna rule that out. And we get down to these. So for something that might leak a bit, I'm gonna have to go with this one. This is the lime lemon one. It might leak a bit, but it seems really resilient. Like it didn't crack from being thrown on the ground, even like this one did. It's got minimal discoloration and damage and distortion. This one, as you can see, took a bit more damage and discoloration as we discussed, but they do both leak a little bit. If you're not saying it's also leak proof, I'm gonna have to say these both do a good job. This steam release is also good because it means you don't have to take the lid off to microwave it. It is gonna blow out on its own. And this is just some generic brand from Coles that I can't remember the name of. As I said, I'll put it below. This Decor Fresh Seal one did discolor the lid, but not the container and took minimal damage. So these are in top place for first place. I will buy more of these. I'll probably go the Decor ones because you can get them from everywhere. I'm pretty certain Coles, Woolies, and Spotlight all sell these. This brand I've never even seen before, and I don't want to have to then change to a different container later. So first place to you, my friend. Second place to you. This is a unique side contender. These guys, that one probably third place, this one fourth place. They got a bit behind because they leak. This one would be close, fifth place, but distorted. Same goes for that little fella. These ones all go in the bin. I have to say thank you for sticking along this entire ride. This is a long video, longer than usual, and I've now got to edit the bloody thing. But this has been good for me. I'm going to buy all these Decor ones. Everything else will be screw containers for me. $100 worth of containers can hold a lot of screws. If you have any questions, if you want to give me a bit of a better testing methodology for next time, I am all ears. I would love it if you would like and thumbs up this video, especially if you want to see more. Leave a comment with any questions and hit subscribe for more of these sorts of tests because as I cook more, I'm getting more into the quality of the things that I'm buying. Still looking at that low price point, like these are all sub $1 and at most maybe right near $1. But I'm really into it. I hope you guys are too. Hope you're staying safe. Catch you soon. Thanks for coming.